Hello everyone and welcome back to my F122 custom Formula 2 season for the round labelled round 8 at Spa. That was a very odd way of saying that, but anyway, we move on. Spa, of course, one of the great circuits of the world here in Belgium, so let's see what it has in store for us as we head into qualifying and going through the first corner, the Source as it is known. Very nicely, and now we head up towards Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time. So here we go, taking a very narrow line into Eau Rouge, cutting over the curb there quite a lot, and makes our exit of Radion very awkward indeed. So losing a bit of time there, we push on nonetheless and move on to the end of the lap, and a bit of a moment out of the final corner, but the lap was pretty clean other than that. So we cross the line and we do go fastest of the drivers that have set times, and that time will stick.
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top three are
Viscal, Piastri and Felipe Drugovich.
the grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow where we'll be live with all the action, and until then, goodbye.
So it is pole position for us right alongside our main rival Oscar Piastri. Very interesting stuff, but of course the first race, the sprint race, is reverse top 10. So we're really looking down to Zhou Guan Yu and Larim Zendelli, who will be starting on the front row.
It's Saturday, and that means we're preparing for today's Formula 2 event here in Spa. As the cars are being prepared, let's join them trackside for the start of what promises to be a terrific race.
So here we are again, a whopping 4.35 miles of track here at Spa, featuring long straights, some seriously fast corners, and some massive elevation changes. This is a track that routinely delivers high-quality racing, and we'll be hoping to see just that from our young F2 drivers today.
Davide Valsecchi joins me today. Davide, Spa is a favourite for fans and drivers alike. What tips would you have for these young drivers today?
Always a pleasure to be here, Alex. Who doesn't love Spa? I wish I was down there racing today. I would say there's a lot of places to overtake on this circuit, so be patient on that first corner. Try and get through it safely, get a good exit, and get in the right position to attack at the end of the main straight.
Alrighty then, so here we are on the grid for the sprint race here in Belgium. Bit of cloud, no rain, so it'll be medium tyres all the way to the end.
Incredible parking there, nice one. That's going to give you the edge if you can get good launch as the race starts.
Alrighty, let's get ready to go to the 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go for the sprint race here in Belgium. And it's an okay start for us. We're going to try and find some space to the outside, but Piastri blocks that off. We lift very early into turn 1, and we're getting swamped here, losing 1 or 2 places into the first corner. We try and make that one back around the outside, and we will just about stay ahead of Liam Lawson. But we've definitely lost a bit of ground here along the first sector of the race, and we've dropped into 12th position, so 2 spots lost for us, thanks to Piastri coming straight across to cover to make sure we couldn't make any moves around the outside. And you can tell he is fighting for the championship. He's got the lead at the moment. We did bring that margin down a little bit by taking pole position and the 4 points with that, but still Oscar Piastri very wary that we could potentially score big in the next race, so he needs to maximize this one. Anyway, we'll focus on the next race when we get to it. Right now we are absolutely pushing, and literally pushing, as we head through Rivage, and that is ahead of us Jack Aitken, who we are giving the shove through the corner. Thankfully no front wing damage for us, as we were very much giving him the hurry up, but thankfully we were able to get away with that. It's very easy to damage the front wing when you start getting into all the silly bumping and stuff, but we go for the lunge down the inside, and we'll make the move, and it looks like the car is working just fine. So that is as of no concern for us. There's a replay, and Aitken saw us coming, didn't do anything silly, no defense thrown, just let us go, and we'll continue on our merry way. Now we got Christian Lundgaard up the road, as we're going to go for the lunge down the inside, and we'll make the move side by side, and Lundgaard holds on as we head through Lake Holm and now into Malmedy. Nothing we can really do here, and Lundgaard maintains the position for a little bit longer. So yeah, tough little battle here as Lundgaard goes a bit wide. We'll sneak through down the inside, and a very, very minor mistake from Lundgaard, and that led us through. And
Nice work,
we need to make these overtakes. We're back into the top 10, so we're in the realms of points if we get the fastest lap. Of course, only the top 8 score in the sprint race if you don't get the fastest lap, that is. But anyway, bit of a mistake there, getting a bit too aggressive, and weren't quite able to pull the car up, couldn't make the move, and we remain in 8th position as Lundgaard is coming back at us a little bit. We throw the car into Rivage, make sure there is no opportunity to get past, and we set our sights on the car ahead once again, and we'll see if we can go again on Oscar Piastri as we have a look to the outside. And once again, Piastri is going to hold on. We just couldn't quite find the presence around the outside to go for the move. And we have a bit of a moment on the exit there. And now Lundgaard around the outside. Big dive up the inside trying to keep the position. And we will just about keep it. But that was aggressive. And we're really on the defense and attack at the same time here.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
And thankfully, no damage to the car for us. I was a bit worried that we may have... oh, we've gone for a spin! Round we go! And that is going to cost us a bunch of positions. Thankfully, we save it, and it's only a 360. We don't find the wall, but now we've got cars coming on either side. Guillaume Samaya and Pourchaire with contact with Samaya into the wall for both of us. And Samaya is out. We've got damage, and we are now dropping to the back of the field. Everyone goes past, and we are now in 21st position. No front wing on the car. Samaya with a wheel off, and that is an absolute disaster for us. That is not what we needed, and we are now in big trouble. No points on the cards now in this race. We'll need to change the front wing. The safety car is out, so maybe we'll be able to catch up to the field, but that is disastrous. Here's a replay from a different angle, and you can see Samaya started coming across to the left. I couldn't move to the left because I knew Pourchaire was coming up alongside. I had cars coming on both sides, so I just tried to stick to the middle, and Samaya wanted to start moving across to take the racing line. I think that's the fairest way to judge that one. But yeah, you can see from my angle here, I was looking all over the place trying to figure out where these two cars were going to go, and unfortunately Samaya just made that bit of contact with us, so that's unfortunate. We're in for a front wing change now. To be honest, we were tumbling down the order anyway. We would have had a lot of work to do, so we're going to be aggressive here. Put the soft compound tyres on.
Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
So we'll see what we can do on this compound. We'll catch up to the field, hopefully. We will have fresher tyres, softer tyres, and a lot of cars to overtake. So this one should be fun. In the rest of the race, we should have a good pace. So here we go on the safety car restart, and it's not actually a particularly good one.
Okay, the incident's been cleared. Let's get back up to racing speed. Come on.
And we'll remain behind for a little bit longer, but eventually we will find a bit of momentum and we'll go for the lunge down the inside, and the car gripping very nicely into Lake Holm there. A bit of a moment on the exit as the tyres are still a touch too cold, but we get away with it, and that is one overtake done, that being on Ralph Boschung. He's had a tough day, obviously. He's running in now last position with Samaya out of the race, so yeah, he's not had a fun time. Someone else not having a fun time is Théo Pourchaire. He was almost involved in that incident with us, and now he's retiring from the race with a mechanical failure, so that's unfortunate for Théo Pourchaire. We go for another lunge down the inside, and that's the position made on Alessio De Leda. And oh, another moment there. We're very much on the limit between Lake Holm and Malmedy, and we're off the road there as De Leda gets back up the inside, as we're going to try and make the move around the outside of Rivage. This is a hard enough corner to get through on its own. Very awkward camber on that one, but we do manage to make the move around the outside, and we get through on Alessio De Leda, and that moves us up another position. So slowly making our way through the field, but at this rate, it's going to be a long time before we have any dreams of the points. But anyway, we will still do our best and see if we can recover anything at all. Roy Nassani up next. We go for the move down the inside into Lecom once again. Later on the brakes, then Roy Nassani sending it in, and now the confidence is building on these tyres, and we're driving them a little nicer.
Great manoeuvre, you made it look so easy.
And starting to make the overtakes. Another overtake down the inside, this time into the bus stop as there's a lock up there, but we will make the move around the outside and get ahead of Fittipaldi.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
And it was David Beckman up ahead that was having the lock up as we continue to push on. We'll see if we can make the move on David Beckman down the inside into Lecom, and we will be later on the brakes and we'll get through on David Beckman. Next up is Yuri Vips as Beckman's still hanging around trying to make the move, but we'll slam that door closed and get ahead of David Beckman. And yeah, as I said, next up Yuri Vips as we run through Eau Rouge and Radion. Haven't actually showed this run, but you can see how much more grip we have through there, and we're absolutely blazing. We go to the outside as we almost put two wheels on the grass. Vips leaving us just enough room as we're getting a slipstream as well, which helps out along the straight. A little bit cautious on the brakes as we're going to try and go round the outside of Yuri Vips. He's super late on the brakes, sends it in trying to get the position, but in the end he won't be able to hold it, and we're through on Yuri Vips, and that's another position gain for us. We're up in the 14th position now, so we have made some pretty decent progress through the field as we're going to go for another overtake down the inside, and that's up into 13th position now as we get ahead of Christian Lundgaard. So we're really starting to make an impact in this one, and we're only a few spots away from the points. We're basically guaranteed to get the fastest lap of the race now, so if we can get into the top 10 we will bank those points. And remember, it's all relative to Piastri, so I don't know how much progress he's making in this race. We'll find out, but as we continue on.
This is your final lap of the race.
Last lap of the race now, so we're really running out of opportunities down the inside of Marcus Armstrong. Bit of contact with the back of Lawson, sliding on the exit, but it's another position gain for us, so we only need two more, and those two are Liam Lawson and Jack Aitken running side by side through Eau Rouge and Radion. Drogovic and Piastri fighting up ahead as well. We get past Aitken on the exit, as well as now going wheel to wheel with Liam Lawson. We get the move done on him too. The mega run as they were running side by side compromised both of their exits, and now we're closing up to Drogovic down the inside of Drogovic into Lecom, and we get the move done on Felipe Drogovic, and that's a very, very handily timed move for us, because that has put us all the way up into 9th position, and that is points now for us. As Jane Deruvala rounds the final corner, he takes race victory here as he crosses the line very slowly, so maybe there's something going wrong with that car at the end, but nonetheless a good performance by him as we come across the line now to finish in 9th position.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
We finished behind Piastri, but crucially we got the fastest lap, which means we get the bonus points for that one.
A great win then for the Carlin team today. Davide, what do you think made the difference here?
Although the Formula 2 car are all the same spec, the winner just looked better out there. It would have been a combination of getting those tires up to running temperature faster and driving to the condition on track. They made it look easy out there today.
As we can see, it's time for the podium, and I can see the Carlin team underneath our commentary box going crazy as their driver walks out. It was a great win, and it means a great deal to this team.
So it is Jane Deruvala who takes race victory here for the sprint race in Belgium. Second place it goes to Larim Zandelli with Zhou Guanyu in third.
Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
I think it's going to be Bernd Viscal. He's not always spectacular, but he quietly gets the job done. And that's the case today.
After all this drama, you would be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Well, we started 10th, finished in 9th, but that tells little of the story of this race and everything that happened in between. Piastri also only gaining 1 place, so he didn't really make the most of this one either. And we got the fastest lap, which means we actually outscore Piastri 2 points versus 1. So that is a little advantage in our favour, albeit just 1 point. Marino Sato doing a decent job for us, and finishing in 6th position, dropping 1 place to Dan Ticktum, but not a bad job for Marino Sato, and he picks up a healthy 4 points for his efforts in this one. So that'll be nice for the constructors fight as well. So yeah, he's still finished behind Robert Schwartzman, but he'll have his opportunity in the feature race, where qualifying positions are where they genuinely start, and Robert Schwartzman will start behind Sato in that one. We'll be starting on the front row alongside Piastri, so that will be absolutely lights out. But anyway, let's see how the championships are faring after this race. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, we are currently behind Piastri by 15 points, and the next car, or the next driver I should say, is Jane Daruvula, 17 points adrift, so he really comes back into the fight after this race. Then following Daruvula is Robert Schwartzman, 26 points away from Piastri's number. So yeah, there are probably about 4 major contenders left, because the next one after Daruvula is Jack Aitken, and he's 43 points away. Marino Sato 44 points away. So yeah, they are the main contenders left at the halfway point. Of course, someone further down the order could jump up quite a long way with a couple of good race results, but they are the main contenders at the moment. In terms of the constructors fight then, Prema lead the way ahead of us by 33 points, and they did score more in this race, but the feature race, we've out-qualified our respective rivals at Prema. Myself and Marino Sato are qualifying Piastri and Schwartzman respectively, so hopefully the feature race will be the one where we can outscore Prema and finally close that gap in the team's championship. So let's just get to it then.
Located in the Ardennes countryside, Spa has been hosting races for almost a century, and it's revered by drivers and fans alike. So it's a joy to be here today as we prepare for the next thrilling instalment of the Formula 2 race calendar.
So here we are again, a whopping 4.35 miles of track here at Spa, featuring long straights, some seriously fast corners, and some massive elevation changes. This is a track that routinely delivers high-quality racing, and we'll be hoping to see just that from our young F2 drivers today.
Let's take a look at the grid positions for today's race. An immense lap from Bent Viscal yesterday puts him in pole position, and it's Oscar Piastri in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Drugovic, Ticktum, Richard Verschoor and Sato, Schwartzman, Daruvula, Zendelli,
Guan Yu Zhou,
Lundgaard, Aitken, Liam Lawson and Armstrong, Beckman, Phipps, Samaya and Teo Porcher, Nissani, Fittipaldi, Boschon and Alessio Deleda rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Alrighty, so here we are on the grid for the feature race here in Belgium. We are starting on the medium compound tyres, moving on to the softs towards the end. Bit of a backwards strategy. Normally starting on the softer compound is preferred, but nonetheless it's what we are doing and what everyone else is doing, so I'm not going to go in a different direction to the pack. That is asking for trouble. But anyway, we will just have to trust the strategy on this one as we go to the 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go very quickly, a very short hold, and I think that caught me off guard because it's a bad start and Piastri's already through around the outside. Big lunge up the inside trying to regain the position, but Piastri switches it back as we went deep, and Oscar Piastri takes the lead as we're now side by side up the hill with Felipe Drugovic heading towards Eau Rouge for the first time. We'll see if we can maintain the position ahead of the Brazilians side by side, and Drugovic backs out of it. We left him room, but he couldn't keep the car there, and we maintain second position. Drugovic drops into third, so a decent start for him, and he's looking good for a podium if this race goes his way, but at the moment not able to get past us, and we were very lucky to stay ahead of him, honestly, with such a bad exit out of turn 1. But as we continue on, that is Felipe Drugovich now with an issue in the car, and it's a mechanical failure for Felipe Drugovich. What a shame, as he was showing very great pace in the opening lap of this one, but not going to work for him, as we're on board now with Marino Sato as he makes a move up the inside. And that is Sato taking 3rd position, so he's charged his way through the field and gained a few places, starting in 6th up to 3rd, now up to 2nd. So we had a moment there running wide. We drop into 3rd behind our teammate Sato, so Sato is absolutely on the charge in this one and doing a fantastic job. And I think one of those positions for Sato obviously came from Drugovich retiring, but that's still 3 legit overtakes that he's had to make, including getting past us with that mistake. And to be fair, we did let him go, but still showing a very good pace, and it will be very helpful for us if he can catch Piastri. I don't know if that's going to happen, but who knows. His pace is very good in this race, as we are very aggressively stepping up our defences in this one.
Tyre condition still looking good.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if we can hold on to this position, but yeah, just the pace isn't quite there, and Richard Shaw eventually finds a way down the inside into Rivage. We're side by side on the exit. Vashaw all the way around the outside into No Name, and Richard Vashaw gets the move done. And there's a very nice one there for Richard Vashaw. As we continue to push on, then we'll see if we can make the re-overtaking move down the inside. And in less than a lap, we take the position back, as Vashaw's around the outside of the final corner though, and Richard Vashaw might hold on here, and he does. Great job, Richard Vashaw, to get that switch back.
Trailing our teammate by 7.6 seconds.
And that is the racecraft that we will need to try to employ. We need to be a little bit closer when we're going for the overtakes, I think.
Okay, 1 stop to go, just 1 stop left in this strategy. You've got 4 laps until your pit window opens.
Because we do tend to outbrake ourselves slightly, so that'll be something that we need to work on a bit. But anyway, we've got him in our sights once again, so let's see if we can go for the move down the inside into No Name corner, and we will get the move done with relative ease there. And that is another position for us, as we get ourselves back up into 3rd position. So that's really the plan of attack from now on, is just to try and maintain this position as much as we can, but it is something that is constantly under fire, because he's just gone and done it again, hasn't he? He's gotten through at the first corner this time, and we will have to give chase through Eau Rouge and Radion, having to lift off there to make sure we don't make any contact, getting a little close. But we normally get a good run here, and we do once again, as we duck into the slipstream. And now we will try to make the move in a straight line. We go to the left, and we will make the move around the outside, not quite with enough momentum to clear him before the corner, as we go around the outside to the inside of the left, and now around the outside of Malvady. No, we'll duck to the inside and we'll get through, and he makes a bit of a mistake there running wide, and we will take the position.
We're approaching the pit window. You're going to be on softs.
As we're now approaching the pit window, ticked him down the inside, and we've got to give him the space there, and he takes the position. But once again, we'll try to get a good run through Eau Rouge and Radion, and that will give us an opportunity towards Le Com rather. So let's see how this goes, as we get a great run around the outside on the exit of Radion. Tictum just gives us enough room, almost making contact there, but
Right,
we get through.
the end of this lap, please.
And we enter the pit box for our one and only stop in this race, on to the soft compound tyres, and they will take us through to the end.
From you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that.
So let's see how the second stint of this one goes, and we've come out of pit lane in 4th position, so we've lost a spot there as we're wheel to wheel and just about holding on to the position, but that was Larim Zendelli.
Good work. We're in P4, and that's Tictum ahead now. They're on fresh softs. That's Zendelli behind.
And Zendelli started down in 9th, so he has had a great run so far today. But anyway, we're continuing to push on through the race, and we have caught back up to Dan Tictum, who was the driver who jumped us through the pit stop phases, and we have got the run on him once again as we close up in the slipstream. DRS as well as we head towards Le Com. I did it again. Down the inside we go into Le Com, and we get the move done on Dan Ticktum and move ourselves back up and onto the podium. But we're still losing out
Nice work, mate. That brings you up a place.
on big points and a lot of pace versus Piastri in this race. Piastri still in the lead, Marino Sato in second position, so we're doing great for the team's
P3,
championship.
currently in P3.
But yeah, not a lot of benefit for us in the Drivers' Championship this weekend, losing quite a few points to Piastri, and it may be more because we're under fire once again. We'll just about hold on, but every time we get to turn 1 it seems like someone's trying to go down the inside, but we're doing our best and we're just about holding on most of the time. It's Dan Ticktum on this occasion going for the move down the inside, and he does get the move done as we're wheel to wheel. We're coming back at him along the straight now, heading towards Eau Rouge once again, and we'll go round the outside, having to brake a little bit late in the corner there to make sure we don't run wide, but we managed to make things work. We continue on then to Fania, and that is Joe going around the outside of the left-hander as we're sliding, trying to avoid any contact with the Chinese driver as he goes for the bold move. Late on the brakes for us, and we almost make more contact, but thankfully we get away with it on both occasions. But Ticktum is through as well as we're around the outside on the Exeter Stavelo. That was a little bit of a sketchy place to be, but we get away with it, and now down the inside of Blanchimont on board with Ticktum as we're coming up the inside, as we're still wheel to wheel throughout this whole section of the track. Ticktum backs out as we both run a little bit wide on the exit, but we get away with it and the move is done, and now we reset our sights on Joe Guan Yu once again as we head through the bus stop, and we need to try and make sure we can get through this part of the track as efficiently as possible. It's been the low speed corners I've been losing the most pace. So Rouge and Radion have been very good through those corners, and it's given us great runs along the Kemmel Straight, so let's hope for one of those. You saw the onboard with Ticktum there. It was close to contact, but I think he just about got away with it. If it was relatively light. But anyway, now we've got the run on Joe. We'll go down the inside into Le Com, and that should be a job done for us. Late on the brakes, and we're back ahead and back onto the podium. Moving on again then, and we've got Joe down the inside into first corner. Once again, we see him coming, give him the room, he gets through, and we'll try to get the run through Eau Rouge and Radion, and just rinse and repeat until the end of the race. That's basically what our plan is. We don't have the pace to go chasing after the leaders, and oh, that's some significant contact there. Somehow we got away with no damage, and I assume the same can be said for Joe, but it's hard to say if there is any damage to the diffuser of that car. But anyway, we seem to have gotten away with it as we go for the move down the inside. Apologies for the brief pause there, but anyway, we make the move on Joe Guan Yu and move ourselves back onto the podium once again. So,
okay, this is your final lap of the race.
Onto the final lap of the race then. We let him go into the first corner. He was already looking for that move, so we let him go, focus on our own line, and try and get the best run possible. It's not a great run, but it should be good enough to give us the opportunity if we get through Eau Rouge and Radion cleanly. Don't want to be too close, otherwise we'll make contact like last time. So here we go, through Eau Rouge and Radion. Decent run, it's good enough, and we have the momentum on our side. That's the key thing. Joe cuts us off as we're just about to pull alongside, so we have to switch to the inside, but it doesn't matter. Left or right, we will get through, and we will make the move down the inside and get ahead of the Chinese driver and put ourselves back onto the podium for once and for all, assuming we don't make any mistakes. That said, we move on to Stavelo, the most important corner exit left for us, but we go wide. We make a mistake, 2 wheels in the grass, and Joe gets through down the inside, and we can't quite get a good run on the exit. We were so close behind him that we couldn't get the power down, and Oscar Piastri, further up the road, is taking full points for this one as he comes across the line to take the win here. Race victory for Oscar Piastri for the feature race in Belgium. Sato finishes second, but who will finish third? We're going to go for the move down the inside of Joe into the bus stop, a little bit deep for us. Joe with the super back, and here comes Ticktum as well around the outside. He won't find space there as Vershaw gets involved. Drag racing to the line with Joe, bit of a slide on the exit for us, and Joe's just going to take it, half a car length ahead.
Alright, race over, take care of the car on the way in.
What a finish that was, and unfortunately we just miss out on the podium to Guan Yu Joe, or Joe Guan Yu rather, as he gets the driver of the day for that effort. Well deserved.
Here's our winner, pulling their Prema into Parc Ferme then. What a fantastic race. Tell me, Davide, what was the key to this success?
The difference was in the strategy. Credit to the driver for sure, but races like this really drive home how much of a team sport this is. They did a lot of work on the pit wall to really make the most of each stint and to make the best use of these tires. But that said, all of that would have been for nothing without a talented hand on the wheel.
It looks like it's time for the victory ceremony once again, as I can see the drivers beginning to make their way out for the celebrations. You can see it on their faces. It's another marvellous team win for Prema today.
So it is Oscar Piastri who extends his championship lead with a feature race win here in Belgium. Second place goes to Marino Sato. Great constructors points for us at Trident, with Zhou Guanyu a brilliant drive from 10th to 3rd.
And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
I go for Wang Zhu. The Uni-Virtuosi driver today just surprised me. He was so aggressive. He deserved the victory.
After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Alrighty, what can we say in summary of this one? We'll start by taking a look at the finishing order and run through the top 10 and the point scorers. So we will start at the top. Oscar Piastri taking race win as well as the fastest lap, so 27 points going his way, the 2 points for the fastest lap in Formula 2. And that is a massive point haul for Oscar Piastri in this race. Marino Sato doing a good job for us constructors wise, as I mentioned, on the podium, and that's 18 points for him. So compared to Robert Schwartzman, who didn't score points in this race, he didn't even finish in the top 14. So that is great for Marino Sato in his fight with Schwartzman and our fight with Prema, but we'll get to that in a moment. And Joe doing a good job as well, and he gets 15 points. Uni-Virtuosi actually very low in the team's championship, but like I said, we'll get to that in a moment. So we got 4th ahead of Ashore, who did pip Dan Ticktum to the line in that last lap scrap. Then Larim Zandelli, who was briefly fighting for the podium, ends up down in 7th position. Lundgaard finishes in 8th ahead of Deruvla, and Liam Lawson rounding out the top 10. And that is it for the point scorers in this one. In terms of the Drivers' Championship then, we sit second just behind Oscar Piastri. Of course, he doubles his championship margin in this race. He outscored us by 15 points. His margin is now 30, and it is a further 12 points behind us to get to Jane Deruvla, and a further 11 points back to Sato, who is tied now with Robert Schwartzman. So Sato's doing his job and matching Schwartzman in the Prema fight, but we're not doing ours at the moment. We need to do a little bit better and start taking some points away from Piastri. So constructors wise, we're 30 points adrift, with Carlin 64 points away from Prema, and then no one else is really within range. 4th place in the constructors is High Tech, and they are 136 points behind rather, and with Dams and Uni-Virtuosi at the bottom of the table, which is very weird to see because they have some very decent drivers, but for some reason things just aren't working out for them in the season so far. Anyway, that is the summary of the points complete, and I've got about 6 seconds to end the video. So thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I do very much appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.